Welcome to the Exit to Portcast, the first ever episode, which is something we've been wanting to do, especially me, because I've had this idea of a podcast for a while, and as soon as I started doing the grumbling together with you two, it just grew more and more in my mind that I wanted to do this together with you guys. So hello to the Grumpy Beard and Mr. Grumbles the Dwarf. Welcome to the Exit Podcast.
Hello. Welcome, everybody.
So,
to the port.
Let's just jump into it. The first topic on the field here, and we might as well get into it here. Why do we want to do this podcast? Why do we do this? And I want to hear from you guys first. So, Grumbles, start us off. Why do you want to do this podcast?
What do I want to do this podcast? Oh, crikey, throw me in the deep water.
Yeah.
I want to, so first of all, the obvious thing, I want to have lots of fun and laughter and hopefully bring that to people. What do I want to achieve, like, generally in terms of doing this podcast is, firstly, I think it's a fantastic idea, and I want to say thanks to Tiger for helping push us and, like, herd the cats a little bit towards getting it done, because between full-time job for me and full-time dad and stuff, for Tiger, and full-time streaming schedule for Grumpy and for Tiger, it makes it challenging to get together. So I'm grateful we can do it, even if it's people are like, oh, why aren't you playing ships anymore? And what I'm looking to do again is just have fun and laughter, and just we will have a few ideas that we've shared already in advance and what we want to talk about each time, but also let it just organically drift the way our brains do anyway, and just see where it takes us.
Yeah. And
talk about shippy stuff and wargaming stuff, but also maybe branch out a little bit and talk about some non-wargaming stuff that we think the community will be engaged with.
And Grumpy, how about you?
Yeah, you hit the head on the nail there. But
wait. Hold on. The head on the nail? Ow.
Ouch.
Ow. But sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, I would agree with this, what he says. And also the worship stuff, like when we talk about worship stuff, we're trying to bring the positivity into that. So why not do this and talk to the community at the same time? I just feel like that's highlighting everything that we stand for. Just be positive, try to see everything from like we can critique stuff, but we try to do it in a way so maybe the problem gets solved. See from the positive side of everything.
Yeah, like have a constructive conversation around it. Exactly.
So that's why I kind of got into it. And then, of course, we're going to do other stuff, too, outside of this. We don't know where this is going to take it. We'll see.
No, exactly. I want to make a request to the audience listening and watching right now. Since this is a test episode, please let me know if the levels are off or something like that, and we will adjust accordingly. Anyway. You guys have pretty much summed up why I want to do this too. Like it's bring up stuff outside of the gaming, and being able to have a proper conversation about it without us being in the middle of a game and being torpedoed and on fire and blood pressures rise because something's not going the way you want it to, and then that way you're not able to properly process your thoughts. So yeah, no, this is exactly why I want to do it. And also, I want this as an opportunity to kind of let people get to know us a bit better as streamers outside of just the horrendously over-aggressive World of Warships play we do. Because let's face it, we have a very similar style, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, I think the common thread is we want to have fun. Yeah, and we have a similar understanding and expectation of what fun is for us. So, yeah, a little bit uber aggressive at times, but we want to essentially be engaged in the battle and also in whatever games we're playing. We want to be experiencing some action, because that's usually what brings the unexpected and the excitement and the disasters and all those things. And that's what, so we want to bring the emotions and tie that into our positivity. So, yeah. Or we're just YOLO artists, if you want to put it the TLDR way.
YOLO artist. I don't think I've ever heard that before. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful way
I
of
will steal
describing.
that.
Yeah, no, I'm so on board with that. I'm so on board with that. Because a lot of people are familiar with us through warships, and I think the reason why we see a lot of retention between our raids, like Grumpy raiding me raiding Grumpy, or Grumbles being raided by us, or so on, is because we have a very similar way of being. And I also think that's why this podcast will do well and fit well, because we have a good conversation, we have a good dynamic between us, and I think we've shown that over the few Fridays, really. So,
and just to clarify, he said being, not peeing.
Why do you feel the need to clarify that? Did somebody think I said peeing? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I saw that in chat. That was the first question that said.
Shut up. But yeah, I guess that swiftly brings. Yeah, you mentioned emotions. That swiftly brings us along to the first topic, or the second topic, really. 2020. What the hell was that? Where did we start?
We all wish we could forget.
Well, honestly, I had a lot of good stuff happen in 2020.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna try to keep it short here because I know we all have a lot to talk about regarding 2020. But I started out the year by getting the permission from the government to be able to actually set up my business as I still keep the ability to have the support from them for being unemployed. So I was able to set up my business. I was able to start doing that, and it had enormous growth. And this is kind of why I want to talk about this on a podcast, because talking about it in the middle of a stream and such feels off, but putting it into context feels better. And throughout this year, like, enormous growth, so many more people I gotten to know. But not only that, in June I hit partner, and this has been such a weird year for me. Like, on the business side, it's been so good, but on the personal side, like everybody has had such a downfall. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm super introverted. I enjoy being on my own, but I really do notice that those times where I'm not able to go out and talk to people or hang out in a bar or whatever, those few moments where I really relish those, they are gone, and that hurts maybe even more. So 2020, overall good year for me, but that's just personally, but there's so many other things. But Grumbles, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the things are going to echo and resonate amongst us because we have this similar sort of wavelength, and I think that forms the starting point of our friendship. I mean, 2020 for me, like, how do I describe it? From a streaming and, or more importantly, being part of the community, and you know, making and or strengthening our ties and friendship and other many of our friends in this little Twitchverse. It was like just incredible, just a really, really positive experience to reinforce, like, from where I started, of like, why do I even do this? Because I want to smile and be happy and laugh and have fun playing some of these video games, especially WoWs as a game I've played for many years and enjoyed thoroughly. And I didn't feel like there was, or I wanted there to be another positive impulse in that space. So I'll phrase it that way, because there was plenty already, but there was plenty of, like, ironically, the balance to that, you know, the not so positive. And that kind of wound me up a little bit of like, why do we always have to have the downside of stuff? Or why do we always have to be like a little bit, you know, rude and excessively, negative in the WoW space. So that's kind of why I got into it. And last year was the world kind of going into this huge shitstorm spiral or whatever we can call it, and being able to be, and I hope this is like I'm just expressing it honestly the way I observe and describe my words for it, but being able to be just a little, I would say, funk or whatever. I try not to use too many German words, but this often, like, sometimes the thoughts come in one language, sometimes the other. But just being that little bit of light somewhere at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? Or that little bit of the break in the clouds where it's like it all feels like doom and gloom all the time. But actually, look, there's a little crack in the clouds and there's a little bit of sunlight coming through, and just trying to be a bit like that, if that makes sense. At least that's what I'm aiming for, and that's what I think people have taken on to and enjoyed. And then the other things that have come along, I found, so one specific case with WoWs, I found the one modification, patch, fix, the one component that was missing from World of Warships, having played it since closed beta, and that was this community. And I can't stress that and say that more sincerely. You folks were the thing that was missing for me in this game that I never even realized until it was there, and it really dawned on me additionally last year. So as for the rest of the year, kind of ironically, a good thing for me was not having to like drive to an office building every day of the week, even though I miss some of my work friends. My colleagues don't but just like not having to spend money on fuel, not having to, I don't know, just deal with commuting, and then on for me in my work situation, I don't talk about that in too much depth because I like to have this nice separation so that I'm not in that. Otherwise, I'll go down the work rabbit hole here as well. But just being able to be part of introducing new technology to in this case thousands and thousands of people, and specifically in my role, I work on communication and helping people understand and get familiar and comfortable with tech. So it's not the tech itself, but what does this mean to the human being or the humanoid using it? So there were way more positives for last year. And then the big challenge was obviously feeling the empathy and knowing people that were either unwell or lost people, or just really struggled. And I struggled in some cases as well. Actually, the first half of last year, or like June, July, August, I was kind of in a dark place in some cases when I wasn't streaming, because I was like, everything else sucks. And I like living in a cave, and I like my introvertedness in some cases as well. But just that whole, can I go out? Should I go out? Will I succumb to some horrible illness if I step outside of the door? And so all those psychological aspects were there too. But again, that's what the community pulled together. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on last year.
How about you, Grumpy? You've been in this game for a bit longer than us. You've been full-time streaming for a lot longer. How's this year been for you? Or last year?
But the thing I enjoy the most during this hard year with all the sickness and stuff has to be the thing we started to do with the music stream on my part. Oh, yeah. And see that even though we're growing small amount on that part, like it's just such a different thing for me. It's more like this one, what we're doing now, because you communicate more. I feel like when we play the game, it's harder to communicate this way. So that's why I like this podcast, and music stream. It's, in the community, they lift us up during this hard year. It's just been, oof. And we had hell with Little One, all that jazz. So yeah, this community just keeps us going. I feel like it's just, they bring so much to the channel. That's why, like Grumbles, what you said there with what was missing in the game, you found that when you started streaming. I feel like I found you guys through it. I found, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And follow, thanks. What? Thank you. I'm not even streaming.
Yeah. No, I did a shout out for the two of you, but yeah.
So that's the thing. Like it's been a rough year, but at the same time, we're pulling through, and it's so much easier because of this. this platform, the digital world we're living now, it's just making it easier, even though it's really hard. Yeah. So 2020 has been really good, but for that, reason, this platform and I found what I love, in a new way. I'm going to go back more to music, I believe, and stuff. So I found that. So yeah, it's been a good year, and we're coming up on 2 years on what is it? February? Did I get partner February? I believe.
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was 1 month after the little one got born. So yeah.
That's amazing how quick the time flies.
Oh.
I
know that's the cliche, but wow,
Yeah.
you think about it right now, what that all means. Yeah.
I've mentioned this before, like kind of how it started out for me, and I've mentioned the journey I see in Grumpy, and I just want to mention this before we go on. Is like one of my first raids incoming was Grumpy. You raided me with like I think it was 20 people. I was sitting there with 2, 3. I had like I think I was just about to hit 100 followers. I think you were on 400 or 500 or something. And you raided me while we were playing World of Warships. I was like, okay, yeah. Popped over one day and said, hey, thank you for the raid the other day. That was incredibly nice of you. And then we played a few games together and it just kind of clicked. And then seeing your journey, like becoming CC and then hitting partner and everything and being able to go full time with it, so incredibly cool and has been a massive inspiration for me. And then we kind of found TC. We found this amazing guy who's just so chilled out. Like, yeah, the game, he's just, yeah, whatever, it's a game. And then we kind of adopted that as an idea into our stream, and it kind of started feeling so much better. And then Grumbles through this, and just so many good people over that time span. And like the Cloudman said, and I just need to bring it up right now, streamers and YouTubers have been a lot of the social interaction for a lot of people throughout this year. And I say it every morning, like I'm humbled that as soon as I hit that start stream button, there's always somebody popping up and going hello, and I'm like, holy shit, like it's just I'm so blown away by that fact, and it hits me every single morning. Like I get to hang out with so many people, and every Friday I get to hang out with 2 amazing guys and have these sorts of conversations, and I am honestly blessed. I am. And as much as crap as this year has been, Lord's above. It has brought me so much good. And I'm just glad we're able to bring it on through this conversation, through these streams, and especially like seeing your music streams, Grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
It's something different. But you see the same guys there. You see the same people there. And they're just enjoying it and hanging out. This conversation. Seeing your RP streams, Grumbles. It's not warships, but it's something different. And it's something that people enjoy because it's the interactions between people. And even though, yeah, you're playing a role, there's still a core of Grumbles there. There's still a core of Dub. One eye, Chubs. One eye. And it's so good to see that and have that conversation and knowing that there are so many others sitting there smiling, enjoying it, or getting emotional over the same things. And yeah, the social aspect of this is amazing. And I really do feel like that is probably one of our strengths in this, how we do this. Is that we focus on the conversation, we focus on these things.
Yeah, and I've really I've said this to chat a whole bunch of times as well. I really love couple of things in particular is this crossover, or like I call it the extended good vibes community. independent of whatever games and things. But the fact that people are in and out of everybody's chats and hanging out, and they know each other, recognize, and they interact. The interaction's been the big thing for 2020, and like now and going forwards, is seeing how much. Because it's like it's kind of, there's the easy thing, the starting point of like everyone comes in and focuses on the streamer, and then everyone's trying to do the me, my thing, my comment. But that's so quickly and positively developed into this real community where everybody's interacting and talking and sharing jokes and laughs and support and factual information about the games and stuff, or even random stuff like, oh, I've got this problem in real life and blah blah. Oh, right, I had a similar thing, or do this, or here's some advice, or sharing experiences, and just kind of, whether we realize it or not, but you're just being that helping hand, because everybody has those moments when they kind of get down or trip up a little bit, or life just comes and sort of kicks them in the shin while they weren't expecting it, that kind of thing. And obviously, simplifying some aspects, some people have incredibly rough situations they've had to go through. But just this collective like cohesion and willingness to engage with one another is something that I've particularly enjoyed, and seeing this crossover. And as you said, Tiger, independent of whatever game or whatever we've been playing, it's been really cool to hang out in respectively each of our evening streams or alternative content and see still a lot of those familiar faces. And not just that, but to see people, I mean, Thinker brought it up today in my chat. He never has and probably never will play Warships, but he turns up every time and hangs out and has fun with us and loves it, right? So it's just a small, example, not to focus anybody in the spotlight or anything, but we see that all over the place. You get all this broader audience, and just being able to bring this positivity that I think is the kind of the core that overflows between the channels, and all the other people we've mentioned, like TC here, even with his hashtag blame grumbles. The fact that we can share all those jokes and everybody knows about it is also very cool.
Well, we are talking a lot about warships, naturally, and one of the topics we have on here is, of course, the Commander rework. And I'm wondering, do we want to talk about other games, or is this such a huge subject that we just need to jump on it right now?
Well, firstly, I'll just stop my stream.
Pro stream.
Yeah, I think we should. But again, we try and do it in the balanced, like, positive. We're not trying to sell it. We're not affiliated particularly with the game or anything. No one's paying us to say certain things or whatever. Which I know everyone knows, but just to state the obvious in case there's new folks here. But yeah, I think we should talk about it a little bit, because this is where we ended our stream and the sort of core of the community. And then I think the important thing is to have a time limit and say, okay, that's what we can do about that right now, and let's move on, because otherwise we'll go down the rabbit hole of the Commander rework.
Yeah, and I think this is going, like, the Commander rework is going to overshadow something else that is upcoming. That everybody wanted, and I underline and embolden and capitalize my sarcasm when I say this: the German DDs.
I'm going to take a quick break.
All right, Tiger, you're on your own as we just wheel ourselves out of the picture slowly.
But honestly, have you ever heard anybody say that they wanted a second German DD line? Honestly.
Nope, I'm silenced. I don't hear anybody that was crying out for that.
Not a single person asked for it. Like, where did they get that idea?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it reminds me of the Russian cruiser split. Was the same kind of thing. And I mean, I think the other thing is that when you look at it, again, this is far too premature, but first impression was not only like, why, with the confused look on my face, but then wait, they have what traits?
Yeah.
And then it's like, when am I ever going to be inspired to play this? And like, so you basically bring them in to be effectively the hardest type of DD to play, and you take away the hydro. I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm really not getting it.
No, honestly, even with the commander rework, because somebody said, oh yeah, maybe the commander rework will welcome it. Nah. Nah. The commander rework has not made it easier for those new DDs. Like, fair enough. They probably have some basis in reality, but it's an arcade shooter game. It's an arcade shooter game, and you have all the options in the world to balance and to have this rock paper scissors balance of it. You know, except with the amount of ships in there, you need rock paper scissors lizard Spock almost. Big Bang Theory.
What?
Yeah, Big Bang Theory. Like, yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't know it either. But
yeah,
okay.
so it's just like you introduce so many more things.
Yeah. I thought it was rock, paper, scissors, and then Russian ships.
Yeah, no,
That's like a nat 20 or a 19 if you're on an off day.
There you go. At least it's a critical threat. No, but it's just I don't see a place for them. Yeah, I love the fact that they're bringing in more ships. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that they're actually bringing in more ships.
Mm-hmm.
But do they honestly have a position in there right now?
No.
I don't see it.
I just feel like they could put the time to better things than new ships right now.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I think that's my key criticism, if it, constructively meant criticism about both the rework and the DD line split, is there really is a ship ton of other things that would be, and I'm not talking about fixing stuff or balancing and getting into that age-old argument of who wants what to be preferred, but just content. I mean, I'll say one word: operations.
Mm-hmm.
yes, please.
Maps. 2 words.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on a roll now. But because so where do I come from on all of this? And I think we're all the same in this. Is why do I play a game? To have fun, to get away from everything else, right? So, and to be here with everybody. So fun is the essence of it. I want it to be entertaining and fun for me and everybody viewing and joining in with us. And so I rate everything on a kind of a fun factor. Where am I going to have a ship ton of fun with this thing that they've just announced or brought in or whatever? And I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure we can have fun in the sense of just YOLOing around and being silly in ships. You can do that in any ship. But again, if you factor in the considerable money and time and energy going into it from a business development, the way I describe it is, it feels like there's a significant disconnect between what they're trying to achieve and what at least the experienced part of the player base, the 1, 2, 3 year or the 2, 3, 4 year players are expecting and wanting to see happen. And I'm not saying you'll never get this, like, let's marry this up entirely and it'll be a wonderful, happy solution for everyone. But let's, instead of having this gap being here, and then sometimes like with this patch, I feel like it's going like this apart from one another. It would be nice if we were actually just getting a little bit closer. Kind of a little bit like the mirroring in some way, like the opposite side of what we've talked about with the community and having so much fun together and bringing everyone together. I want to see a little bit more of that from Warships, a little bit more of the, okay, this is kind of where we're seeing the experienced players wanting it to go. We can't do everything you want because we're a business and blah, 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 but how about this, and this? Maybe they could do something in the future, like, this is probably a little bit of an exaggerated idea, but like, hey, we're going to develop these things and that's our choice. But there's this gap here for 1 or 2 things where we just want to hear what you want. And we can't promise we'll do exactly what you want, but we will take your kind of votes. Or like, they could do a poll. We're doing this 80% of our content, and there's this 20% box where we've got these 5 more ideas. Which one would you like to see the most?
Let me get your opinion on this, because you mentioned something that I think kind of really nails this down as to what's going on in World of Warships right now. There's too much going on. There's too much going on at the same time. Commander rework, new ships, fucking dockyard, New Year's, so many combat missions. Like, there's so much going on. There's an oversaturation. I love the fact that we're getting new content, but the fact that we're getting so much of it at the same time, we're not able to do it. Perfect example, the campaigns. How many of you finished the Strasbourg campaign?
I did finish it, but like at the death. Like,
did you finish the other one?
I did finish the other one by just cheesing it, just picking. So the thing that worked okay for me with those, even though I had like reasonably limited playtime, like I had enough, but from my Friday, Saturday, Sunday, well, really only Saturday, Sunday streams, what I had to do is I had to throw in a couple of extra evenings somewhere when I had downtime, which is not always what I want to do, because I love the game, but I'd rather, for example, be working on improvements to the stream or other things that I can do for the community. But instead of doing that, I played a couple of hours here and there of ships just to get through these things. So that's a bit frustrating. I found that the timing of them, it worked okay. It's not the worst grind one I've ever seen, but
it's on top of the dockyard.
Yeah, I think that my dockyard one suffered a bit because I was a bit distracted, as you said, Tiger, with just too much going on all at once. Yeah, and you know, again, that's within their rights to pin down some of the missions to specific ships and stuff. I felt like that wasn't too bad this time, although there was Heisen everywhere, and it's like, guys, we don't have the, you know, we're working towards the Heisen. I think it's a bit unfair to say, let's work towards these other missions. And you get a bonus to that, or you get more, because there were a lot of 3-star missions for the Heisen. It's like, come on, that's a bit cheeky. But I felt it was doable, but only just.
Oh, it's definitely doable, but it's only just, like you say.
And a lot of people don't have that much time, right?
Yeah,
so
like there's too much, and I think that's a sales tactic. Grumpy, in all of this, I don't want to ask you as a CC. I'm asking you as a player. Like, I want to hear your player opinions on this. If you were to play this and try to pick up these ships, do you think you'd have time to do it?
Well, if I do Mondays to Fridays, I believe so. If I focus on it, you know, totally. But you know me, I hardly read that stuff. I just play. But that's just the way I've been all the time since I started this game. Because everybody's talking about, in the beginning of this game, everybody was talking about the grindiness, blah, blah. I was like, no, I've enjoyed every freaking tier. I played the tier 4s, tier 5s, and I enjoyed it like crazy. You know, that was back in the days, though. But
yeah.
But I never look at these missions for ships and stuff because I get most of the ships too because I'm a CC. So I get a lot. You know, of course, there's benefits with it. But I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit too much of time people need to put down for some stuff here.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And that's definitely something I see. And I've lived through. 2 years ago, I pulled a long warships break because of the Prince Eitel Friedrich grind. And the grind that came right before that. And there was a grind right before that. Like, intense grinds. And I was just like, you know, screw it. I'm out. I need a long break from this because of this. Because they were so intense. And like, you needed to do so many repetitions of something over and over. And I don't mind a long grind, but don't make it so that you barely have time to finish it within the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, honestly, a dockyard thing for me feels like something that should go over a full year. It feels like something that should go over a full year and like have multiple stages. Like, let's say you build 1-in-1 gun even, but it shouldn't be this intense grind where you have to play every single day. Like, you're not promoting a good thing for your game. You're not promoting a good and healthy lifestyle for your game. You're literally just there to grind the money out of people and then get them out. So
yeah, but that's that point of like the business aspect of the game. I fully agree, and I think that I just think that there's certain things that they could balance out. I've got a lot of respect and time for the development teams and the art teams and stuff, and the people creating this content, because the high rate of output, like every single month without fail, right, to bring in as much content as they do. Could they balance it a bit better and maybe have like a 70-30, 70% new, 30% fixing, tweaking, or, bring in, like we said before, new maps, or bring back some of the operations and things like, the operation is obviously one of the big bugbears, because I think that also would help the community to, in total, get more fun out of the game, because you can go and relax a little bit, take your foot off the pedal a little bit, chill, and not be in this constant, like, always in the PvP arena. And also that you just get the variety of the content, because different map, different scenario, different stuff going on. I think Pop's Place brought up a good point the other day with the ops as well, just to wrap that piece up. But he was like, what's the incentive to go back and do it? Because it's always the same few. You don't get the rewards anymore. Nothing resets over time. So it was like, well, why don't you just say every quarter, every 3 months, reset them all back to 0 stars? Change the rewards a bit so they're not like too many things being given out. But then you need just a few more operations to make it more varied and things. And I think there's scope for the game modes, like Crumpy mentioned. Like, I imagine a kind of hybrid between PvE, PvP, where you've got two competing teams trying to achieve certain aspects of scenarios, but they're not in direct competition with one another. So it's not like a my ship versus your ship, but it's my ships have to make it to the end of the scenario, and yours would need to be sunk, or and I think that there's some scope for some really fun, like, competitive PvE, you could call it, or something, rather than directly one team versus the other, firing at each other's ships. And so I just think that there's lots of things that that they could do, and a lot of variety of content. And I think that can easily fit into the business model. But again, this just comes back to this disconnect between what they're trying to achieve and what the demands on them are versus what we want to see.
Yeah, TC said something there. Chat and Blue said something interesting there. The dockyard is over 2 patches this time. Okay.
Yeah, they've improved that for sure. But I agree with Tiger that it would be, I don't know, year, you can argue back and forth about the exact period of time. I think they slightly learned from the PR disaster that you definitely needs to be there for longer. I like and welcome that it's there longer. I just think, why not? I said when they did the PR one, I was like, why don't you saw how angry the community are, Wargaming. Why don't you make it a 3-month thing so that most people can get there? I know you could say, well, that devalues the prize or whatever. Yeah, but what if you've got a prize that makes everybody feel toxic and upset? Is it really a prize anyway? And then you had the situation that unfortunately happens, unfortunately, where everyone who went out in their PR, even today, gets the whole, oh, you've got a PR kind of thing,
I kind of like what Blue said there, though. Make the dockyard permanent future, where new ships are just brought in, and leave the old to grind for someone that has less time.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with this, because I didn't see the name. I think it was, whatever. I'm sorry to everybody who feels left out if I don't mention the name here, but somebody said earn a ship, not buy it. That is an excellent thing for the dockyard, and that is exactly what I would want to do too. Like, I would want to earn the ship. Like, give us bragging rights, show us that yes, we have put in the massive amount of time and effort to get it, but don't force us into buying something. Don't force us to doing that. I think that's a scummy way of doing it. Because that's what they're doing right now. They are literally saying, so this premium that you want, yeah, you have to buy it, but you also have to play an immense amount of things. Okay, but why do I have to play an immense amount of time or pay over double the amount just to get this premium? When I'm literally investing premium time and time into your game and resources into your game by just being here, you know?
I think, I mean, ultimately it's sort of like a discount system for premium ships.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
it's
that the discount doesn't, it feels like it comes at a really big cost, even if it's just time. That's, you know, time is the most valuable thing of all because you can earn more of it, right?
But honestly, no, it's not even a discount system. How much is the price?
I think it's, well, I think it's oriented to okay, yeah, so it's like a pseudo discount system. Yeah, the fact, if you look at the raw numbers right now, it doesn't feel like a discount, but I think that's like the underlying principle of it. It's just that paying 5,000-6,000 doubloons doesn't really feel like a discount, right? So
Yeah, like,
but I think if it was permanent, and I think if players could choose from a selection of ships to get them through the dockyard process, even tech true ships could be in there, right? Hear me out, not for doubloons, right? But just from a grinding through it kind of thing, you might have a line that you don't really want to grind out that much, but over a slow period of time, you might want to get to the Bismarck, but you don't really want to spend a lot of time playing the German BBs or something else for
I would be on board with that.
Resource point regrinds and that kind of thing. Why not just let the players choose what ship they put in the dockyard focus, and then have a more meaningful discount system? Because it runs over a longer period of time, people are not really going to be as agitated. And again, this might still close out some of the player base, but if you pay an amount of doubloons as a ratio based on the tier of the ship and the capability of the ship or whatever, right? So tier 10 costs a bit more in doubloons to finish than a tier 5 would or whatever. But then people can pick their price point and say, okay, I'm willing to work towards finishing a kamikaze, and I know at the end of it I'm going to have to pay, I don't know, 8,000 doubloons. I don't know what the price of a tier 5 would be off the top of my head, right? But you pay something that's a discounted price, and it's, yes, grindy for your time, but permanent. So if it takes you a year to get the kamikaze done, and it costs you, random number, 1,000 doubloons at the end of the process, I think people would be like, okay, I think we can work with that, because that meets some business demand to keep the game sort of afloat and progressing, and also gives people choice. I think it's the lack of choice as well, because who knows if that ship's even worth it in the end. The common question is, what do you think of the ship? Because people are wondering whether they spend half their life over Christmas grinding it or not, you know?
Like, the selection part is something that I feel is an issue in World of Warships generally, honestly. And it kind of brings us back to the operations point. Something that I've said for a long time, I know a lot of people have said for a long time, is that we need more ops for more tiers, and instead of having it on a weekly rotation, I don't know if you guys have played Armored Warfare.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Armored Warfare is modern tank game. And it has it has a PvE mode and it has a PvP mode, much like Warships, much like World of Tanks or whatever. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to go into these similar to operations. You're a team of 5. You go in and you fight against bots. And this rotates on, like, I think it's a 20-minute rotation, and they have so many different of them. And even on the same maps, you have different ways of doing things. So you can get the same map, but it can be in daytime mode, and then that's one mission. It can be in nighttime mode, and that's a different mission. So the variations that you're able to do, even within the same map, is pretty big. And that is something I would love to see from Wargaming. It is like this whole, let's keep an operation on grind for a full week, and the only thing you get from it is XP and credits. I don't know. It's
what TC says there, they don't see, it's zero value because there was only 10 to 15% of uptake. If you see the chat there.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they introduced more, if they gave more incentive,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a skewed way of looking at it because it fits their business goals or whatever. But again, I think that if you look at this in a more holistic way, or what I would appeal to Wargaming and encourage them to do is look at it in a more holistic way. The operation stuff, and again, there's always the exceptional moments or whatever, but generally speaking, it is a more relaxed play style. It puts your brain and your mind in a different space, and it helps you to get rid of some of those maybe more negative feelings and experiences that you have by alternative to earn enough money, to get enough rewards, to progress in the game. This constant like having to be in this PvP scenario, which not everybody wants to be in all the time. Ops are very and as well, the other thing is that operations often offer the opportunity for groups of friends to play the game together and support each other. And I know, make a div in random, but then you've got 3 people, and here you're talking about 6 or 7 people. You've got an opportunity to bring more camaraderie, more crosstalk in a positive way, and start growing together, learning from one another. And I think that so you're promoting like the in-game community aspect by having these other scenarios available, more so than you can realistically achieve with divisions in randoms, because divisions in randoms has to be a limited number, and it's typically 3 people who like each other and get on already and have a similar view of where, and here you bring in more variety. So I think it's a false kind of attitude
I think
to
people
say,
stop playing
no
it.
one plays. Yeah,
People stop playing it because they didn't invest more into it and put more stuff in there.
exactly.
New stuff, so it's just got repetitive. So yeah, and that's how I feel about the maps right now.
they are
mean,
close in their own
repetitive.
turn.
Yeah, the thing that makes the big irony I see with the operations and the lack of willingness to invest in that is how much time and effort, videos, websites, articles, in-game, everything. It's all around historical information and things that took place and everything, right? And then they have this operational game model where they can really push forward all of this history, and it can be in a light way educational and beneficial to remember, because you got to remember the past, you got to learn from the past so you're not repeating it, and all these kind of phrases. And then they frankly just sit there with their arms folded like, I'm not doing it because I'm not making loads of money from it. It's like your whole premise of your game and all your marketing is, look at this cool historic based thing we're doing, and then you refuse to acknowledge and bring history content, and I'm sorry, it's not the same as saying, well, we put the Bismarck in and there's a mouse over text.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known. I'm not very well read or educated on a lot of historical stuff. It's fascinating, it's just I don't find the time, whatever it is. I wouldn't have known about like an Operation Cherry Bloom or Blossom, sorry. Yeah. But now I know about an Operation Cherry Blossom. Don't quiz me on it. I'll get it all wrong. But I get the premise. I understand it's, a lot of these things are steeped in or based off of, historical moments in war and stuff. And again, so it's educational for me. It gives me an opportunity to share that with people. And then, from a streamer point of view, people come in and you welcome them in as new to the channel. And they're like, oh, what's this all about? And you say, well, this is about Operation Cherry Blossom. And a lot of these things, it's a game, an arcade, but this is based on this, and this event in history and so forth. And, and this were the ships that were there. And this is what was beneficial about having those ships at that time. And you can just go, you can make it into such a more deeper experience for everybody, more than just pew pew click click.
A couple of things I want to mention there very quickly. With those historical events like Dynamo, Cherry Blossom, and so on, give bonuses to those ships that were actually there, but don't take away from those that weren't there. Like, allow people to play the ships that are appropriate by all means, but give a tiny bit of an incentive to play those historical elements. And like you say, you can really go for a lot of stuff. You can go for the Battle of Narvik. You can go for all of these, like Jutland. All of these historical things that happen. Midway. All of these theaters of war that we all know so much about through the game and through our interest of it, and through the interest of learning through the interest of keeping history alive. Pearl Harbor, indeed, Howard Williams. Thank you. And whereas on one side they keep saying, "Oh, we're not making enough of this," and so on. Yeah, then how come you're still giving us PvE modes through Halloween and testing of subs and so on? How long does the development of a completely new game mode go? How long does that take? How much does that give them? Huh? For a limited amount of time. That's where it's kind of a disconnect for me.
Fully. And they have like the whole history and research department, and like I said, I think they've got all the pieces there for what they deliver, but I think they need to, like, maybe it's like almost like a admitting to themselves thing. But at some point you can't just bring a new ship and then what's coming this month? Oh, another ship. And this month, oh, another ship, you know.
Yeah,
variety is what keeps people interested. And again, I think that's partly there's too much focus on the attracting new players and growing the player base rather than thinking about the quality and depth of that, and the long-term engagement you can have with the player base. I'd like this game to be around, you know, in 10 years time more.
Same here.
But I'd like that's more likely to happen for me personally if the variety is there and you can keep me entertained and intellectually engaged, not just because you brought out a new ship that I may or may not want.
That kind of like the variety and variation you mean, it kind of brings me back to where we sort of started this conversation about the Commander rework. Because honestly, it is one of those variations that they can bring in to keep people interested and on their toes, and so that it doesn't grow stagnant. But that being said, I do feel like they've kind of missed the mark on how they have introduced it. Like they've shoehorned this in without allowing us a long-term testing and a long-term kind of input on, yeah, this skill promotes a wrong type of play, and then we could actually say why. It's not just complete and utter destruction of why they want things or anything, but it's honestly also a straightforward opportunity to say, okay, and I'm gonna use the skill that we all are in agreement is slightly broken and promotes wrong play. Deadeye promotes a very passive play for a lot of battleships, and it's sad because it's going to be used on a lot of battleships that really shouldn't use it. However, being able to then go back to wargaming and say, okay, this skill, good skill, cool skill, by all means, put it on a different ship, or, you know, give the feedback that allows wargaming to develop their game, to evolve what they already have in a good way that allows more people to enjoy it without it becoming a thorn in our sides. So like, they had the opportunity of allowing us to test more and say, okay, to specialize our ships more, like do something about high explosives, like give more damage to the high explosive splash, but put the fire burning time down to, I don't know, 10% of it. That way there's nothing extra. Like, do that sort of thing. That way, like, could you imagine a Thunderer hitting you with that sort of skill? That would hurt. That would hurt like a mother trucker. And it's all of these things. It's all of these things that they could thoroughly do if they listen to their players and their community contributors. I know a lot of people probably have some grievances about how they don't. I see you laughing, Grumpy. I see you laughing. Do you have anything you want to say, or are we gonna skip that?
I just nope.
He's like, oh, I've only got one thing to say about the CC program, and that's the. I'm just teasing.
Like, I've said it before. People have said to me, "Hey, why aren't you applying to be a CC?" Well, I did once. Why aren't you applying again? Well, do you want the full story? Do you want the honest truth? Because I see the way the CCs aren't being listened to, and that would drive me fucking nuts. And they aren't listening to their community. They aren't doing things like that, and it's just oof. And it irks me because they're shunning the very people that are building this game. Well, not building, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know. It's
Thank you, Stoffer Bill.
Yes, thank you for the very nice comments there. And this time, I really wish I could thank our sponsors, but we don't have any sponsors. Yeah.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Mr. Conway and
No, but it's you guys get what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh wait! Look at my. I got. This is all I got to say towards. What do we think of the commander skill rework? I need the. This is where you need the comedy like Larry David music or something. But
yeah. For those
we're real happy with Deadeye.
For those listening to the podcast in audio form, there's now a big thumbs up and a lot of really sarcastic gifs on Grumble's screen.
Big gifs, best gifs.
And to all of those wondering, yes, we will be posting this both in audio form and in video form. Hopefully on multiple places. It's one of those things that drives us. It is our passion for this game, but I know we also have passion for other games.
Oh yes.
And I've lately really been enjoying Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What are the games that you guys have been enjoying? Grumpy, talk to me, Goose.
I've been looking like crazy. I just try everything.
You just try everything? Well, isn't that good?
Well, I'm not sinking into anything. The only thing that I kind of enjoyed for a little bit, because I haven't played a good MMO for a long time, so you know I'm hungering for it. So when they had the New World test thingy, you could test it for a little short while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just hope they make that good, because it had a good feeling to it, but it still needs work and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to games to come because I'm not really playing anything right now. I'm testing everything again. I went back to try the PUBG and Warzone. I just get like, it's the same. I want to find a new. I want to get that new feeling again. Like I got when I found Warships the first time, or World of Warcraft the first time. I'm looking for that game. For the long run.
Yeah, something that really gets its hooks into you. I agree.
Yeah.
Have you looked at things like Astroneer or Space Engineers or
yeah,
even
a little bit. I've
Stormworks?
been people are kind of throwing stuff at me. Like TC's been this engineer thingy. I think they play it. So yeah, I've been looking at. You know me, restless and get bored fast. So I need stuff to happen. I need the PvP elements, I believe, and stuff for a game to be fun for me, at least. But with others,
Yeah.
So I remember the first time we went over from the Barrens, to the, and just stuff like that. When you just fight massive war in the open, it was just fun.
Oh, I know that feeling. And honestly, I have been looking for that feeling in other games too, like that rush of going into a new place and not knowing what the hell is going to creep up on you and eat you. But
and do it together with others.
Yeah.
That's the big thing for me.
But I've also, like, for those of you who have been hanging out on my streams on Fridays, I play something called Stormworks. Which has the subtitle Build and Rescue. It's a block builder, but the mission is build a ship or a boat that can go out and rescue people on the ocean or perform different tasks like setting out a fire, transporting gear, and so on. And you have limited resources, and honestly, the amount of things that can happen, that has really, really gotten me. And the act of actually building a boat and troubleshooting it and then getting it to work just the way you want, that is a cool feeling. That is a really cool feeling.
I saw you build one ship once. That was pretty. It looked pretty funny, man. It's yeah.
And it's
I
a
enjoyed
learning
watching
experience.
it. So
It's a learning experience when you go through those, and I know I know Grumbles has had a learning experience lately with Eco.
oh yes, I've seen that.
That
Yeah,
looks
I've
like
really,
a lot of fun.
really enjoyed playing that game. I mean, again, what do I look for? I'm similar to Grumpy. What Grumpy said in that I do get bored real quick, so I can pick up a thing, and then if it really doesn't get its hooks into me in the first couple of hours or something, I'm kind of like, moving on, which is why actually I try to be good and not pick things up all the time, or like wait for sales, and I've gotten much better with that now these days. I wait for sales, or I get the free epic of the week and stuff like that. What I've really found in the last couple of years is how much, and this comes a lot from my D&D experiencing as well, GMing and playing with people, playing Dungeons and Dragons online, is I'm really looking for that kind of the sort of social side of it, so to speak, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that for me turns into role playing, but that's not always everybody's cup of tea, or they don't have the confidence with it or whatever. But even doing like a lightweight sort of thing where you're just having fun and chilling and but all working towards a goal. Basically what I'm looking for is, can we somehow agree on like generally a goal, or like what's the purpose? Like Eco is really good because Eco is based on an educational kind of to be an educational game, and you have this common thing, which is this meteor is going to destroy the planet, so do some stuff and kind of help each other out. and then to be able to do that in a role-playing space, I mean, it's been very lightweight role-playing so far, and I think it will increase a little bit when we reboot that system, those servers soon. But those kind of experiences, there's been a couple. There was this what's the one with the is it Satisfactory or something, where you build these big
yes.
and
God,
I was
I love that
curious
game.
about whether that might be fun, because that's got these elements of the space.
I absolutely
I don't
love
know
that
enough
game.
about the game, but
Which
one?
You know,
Dude, let me tell you, Satisfactory, it's a game that really lives up to its name. Like are you familiar with Factorio?
very vaguely. I had a
Yeah.
very brief
So
somebody actually gifted it to me, but it was like I didn't
very,
really get
very
hooked
nice
on
little
it.
game, but it's
Yeah.
so much more easy to enjoy it in 3D. And Coffee Stain Studios, who make Satisfactory, have said this is Factorio in 3D, and it's meant to be. Like, it really lives up to be a game where you get these small obtainable goals the entire time that slowly build up to a bigger and bigger milestone, and you feel the satisfaction the entire time, and it really hooks you in. And the multiplayer aspect of it is so nice too. Like, you don't have the ability to say that somebody should be specialized in an area like an arc or whatever, but you can really set up people to have their own task and have their own areas. For instance, I kept this in mind the last time I played Satisfactory together with Andritos, one of my mods, and I've played it together with Lely, Skype Cthulhu, all people from my community, where somebody is really good at going out, exploring and finding new places, finding new resources, and somebody else is really good at optimizing this factory. Yeah, you have one line of iron coming in. How do you fully utilize that so that it doesn't stop, or that it doesn't underproduce? Like, how do you do that? Somebody's really good with that. And then there's somebody who's really good with coming up with new things we need, and just going out and building the base in itself, and looking for all of these really nice things. And it truly does live up to its name, Satisfactory. It is, and it's so relaxing too. First time I played it, I sat down. Suddenly, 5 hours later, I'm like, "What's the time? I'm sorry, what now?"
Okay.
So
something that gamers are definitely not familiar with at all. Yeah.
yeah, and
But that's the real hallmark of one that's got its grips into you and really fits your
And
your
that's what
personality or
we're
whatever.
all looking for, I believe. So yeah,
you can really do it just the way you want it. Like you can go full hardcore and this is super optimizing, or you can have it relaxed and go find one node per and feed it in and just, let it be.
TC had a question there. If we want to join the community server for Minecraft, Rust, or Raft. Oh, okay.
Raft is amazing. That is also one of those games. Minecraft, I might be up for. Rust is not my game. The PvP element in Rust just annoys me. But the others are very much there. Like I'm all aboard for the cooperation in those games. That's what I'm looking for there.
Yeah, that's what I loved the most about Raft, was just that it put everybody in there to cooperate and just have fun, and that you didn't have to actively pursue the story. I'd say one thing I learned, and it's a shame. It's a shame this hasn't been a game that's developed or brought a second version with more of a story or whatever. But Stranded Deep, because it's what Stranded Deep had. So it didn't have multiplayer as such. But what you'll be right back. Okay, what Stranded Deep had was really good pacing. It was a survival game. You had the usual pressures: got to eat, got to not be bitten by a snake, or be bitten by a snake like I was a lot. But the core of it was it wasn't like a starting an arc experience where you're dying every 30 seconds.
Yeah, punch a tree.
And it wasn't so mechanically heavy so that you felt oppressed by having to know 1,001 different things, or like in Atlas, where you got to get all your vitamins level and all this kind of nonsense. So it just had the right amount of variety. They did a really good job with the wildlife in it, so that was nice as a aesthetic and in immersion. So I'm always looking for being, as Viper put it really good earlier in chat, I exist within the game world. I'm not really playing a game. I don't want to, as soon as I start focusing on mechanics, I'm like, okay, you've lost me. And I think Eco is the first one where it's a lot of mechanics, but you can either be that way inclined and be full into that, or you can just say, I'm just here to be part of the story and help save the planet, or do whatever evil plan I'm doing and that kind of thing. So I think Eco would be a really cool one. Eco needs a little bit of UI love from the development, but other than that, the core of it lends itself so easily into trading, supporting one another, and all the aspects of the fact that you're learning and you're sharing that with your audience as well from a stream point of view. It's got so many positives to it. But that's what I look for the most is even in a PvP game, I'm not really that attracted to PvP. Warship doesn't really feel PvP to me. I know it is, and I play randoms most of the time, but it just doesn't feel that uber competitiveness to it. But I'm not someone who's super into the PvP, but I don't mind, or I like if you get to be a squad together and support one another and things, then I'm not averse to that. It's more like, can I put myself into that space and immerse myself into what's going on around me? If I can in a game, that's usually the death toll for me, because if you can't take me out of my reality, and I look at this guy with this food, unbelievable. I love the fact he basically looks like he's sitting like in a really, really cozy jazz club kind of, and he's just, hey, I'm just chilling. It's nice. I got great food.
Just ordering some food and I got
good music.
Let's be fair. He is sitting in a cozy jazz club.
This is true.
Yeah, he is. No,
the Grumpy Food Channel.
I'd be on board with that.
I'm not that good of a chef though, but Miss Grumpy is, I would say.
Cooking stream when?
I think Rust has a lot of potential if you, sort of the last word on that, because TC mentioned it. I think Rust has a lot of potential if you just lived in that world and did a little bit of even lightweight RP. One guy's like setting up the bar over here. Another guy runs the church or the school. Another guy runs the prison, and other people have some stores in the small town. One guy's a butcher. And if you let your mind wander beyond what the actual like items in the game are and just make stuff up and immerse yourself in a story, I think there's a lot of good potential in there, as there are in a lot of open worlds. And then I would take Rust and then just completely remove the PvP element of it, or say like every Sunday it's a free for all. And the rest of the week it's an open world that you're all trying to just exist and have some fun in, that kind of thing. Or have a zone, like you could have, there's an arena pit somewhere in the middle of the map and everyone can go there who wants to get that little PvP on.
Yeah, I know
And
that's a
then everywhere
possibility in a
else-
lot of games.
Yeah. So that, but this is very specific to me because I'm not trying to compete with people all the time. So
No, it's the cooperative part that really gets me hooked. And enjoying that, and just getting to new places, getting to new like the achievements, like not necessarily the achievements Steam gives you, but knowing that you have sat down, you've cooperated, you've communicated with your team, and you've gotten to this goal. One such thing for me was when I played together with my mod Battlecat in Minecraft. I set up a server. And the goal was to build things, and I built like this, I think it was 120 something blocks high model of the Eiffel Tower.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge, but I needed so much stuff, and Battlecat, he was out exploring, finding all the stuff for me, and so on, and it was so nice. It was so nice because I could focus on the things that I really want to do. There was the building, and he got to do the stuff he really wanted to do, which was mining and exploring and so on. And I really do enjoy that sort of side of things. And Satisfactory lets you do that. I know Arc lets you do that. And to a certain degree, Raft lets you do that. We had this giant raft in the game together with Lely and a few of the others, where I role played as the chef. Like I was from the east coast of the U.S. Like, get the fuck out of my kitchen. I'm the cook here. Like I'm gonna man the fucking grill. Like you get the fuck out. Like leave the fucking fish there and I'll cook it to you. And I'll be like, order up. Fish is done.
I don't know if you guys ever heard about Darkfall.
Darkfall?
Like way back. Yeah, Darkfall. It was a sandbox MMO, first person. You had to aim your... It was not the best graphics or anything back in the days, but the first 6 months of that game was so freaking fun. You could take over areas to build your castles and stuff like that, you know, and and if you were out in the world doing PvE stuff, you could gain some good loot and people would hunt you forever to get that. And I was literally 40 minutes they were chasing me on my mount because it's just a sandbox game. You just go and go, and they just try to hunt you down because they want my stuff.
Yeah,
and they could loot everything I had on me. I mean, gear, everything. That your heart rate went like so many times in that game, and I love that.
Career simulator.
Yeah, so you found like a small crew that you always went out doing stuff in the world, and like that's what I like that you had to like keep a watch out, like one little sound, you got scared shitless and you just ran to leave your gear somewhere.
Yeah, like in a game that's purposefully built around that, I'm all aboard for it. But
that was fun.
I've hit games with that mechanic where people can loot your stuff if they kill you, where it wasn't part of the core idea, and that just pissed me off.
Then it doesn't work.
Yeah,
but
like
that
you
game
work hard for something,
6 months, so.
And then suddenly it's gone. Yeah, no, it's an exhilarating thing though. Like the idea of, okay, you work hard for it, but how do you save it? How do you get it home? Yeah, like you have to work hard for it, and that's kind of cool.
Medieval Tarkov,
pretty much.
It kind of was,
much,
but you had heals. You had to aim your skills like in Tarkov. You aim your shooting, but here I could heal you with and we could help each other too. So it was more co-op, and you could build stuff. So
yeah.
I know I've mentioned this game to you guys before that I think could be fun, and I think I did it after our Phasmophobia stream or before it. But Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I haven't actually looked at it in depth yet, but I've seen a couple of people stream it.
I think
I have it, but I have hardly played it because I'm always alone.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like, I think you can be a crew of 4 in the PvE, but there's
do you have that already, Grumpy?
Mode.
Yeah, I have it somewhere. Yeah.
and I think this could work for us very well. because there is that PvP element, but there is the PvE element of the cooperative of doing the story and everything too.
Yeah,
I
true.
honestly do think that could work. And
Yeah,
I
let's set that up. I could, because I really want to test it, because I haven't tested it. I haven't given it a fair shot. So
I'd be all on board with slightly the RP of it too. You know.
yeah, as long as I can try to, I need to figure out this voice that I'm working on. It's you know, the brother of the Grumbles, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'd be totally up for trying the Sea of Thieves, because a few people have mentioned that like on and off for quite a long time. Really, for me, it was just a case of finding the time, because ironically, because I was committed to like other RP seasons and whatever they call them, and various servers and communities. And one of the things that's always a bit of a struggle with the time is like, you don't want to, as soon as you jump from the one to the other, you're like, you're inevitably leaving a few people behind here or there, or not everybody wants to go. So it's always that feeling of like, well, you're embedded in that story and that community, and I don't want to walk away, but I'm also like super excited about this other one. So, but I would totally be down for, I've tried to work into my schedule so I can do like a random Thursday or a random Sunday or something. But as I said it before, it's the ironic good side of it is that something will get its teeth into me, and I'll be like, okay, I've got to do this now. This is where my heart's at right now. So, but definitely, I'm intrigued by the idea of the Sea of Thieves, just because it's got a lot of common themes and things we can start from. And at the end of the day, we can all just go around going, "Yar, I'm a pirate." Yar.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we would need somebody who could be our captain, because us three trying to decide things amongst us, no, we need somebody who can steer us in the right direction. Let's be fair. Let's be very fair.
I think so. The one thing I'd say to that is I would offer to do that on the basis that I always play goofy captains that'll be like a complete, as long as people can buy in to the idea. If you're totally immersed into the idea of the characters and the story, and I don't want to go like, I don't want to overdo the RP thing for people's first time, whatever. But you play your own character however you want, but there should be a thing of like, well, if that's the captain, then that's how your it's not you as a player, but that's how your character responds and interacts with them, so they respect that position of authority. And then I would be the goofball captain that says, let's build a giant port made out of matchsticks or something, right? And everyone's like, well, captain, that sounds stupid. He's like, yeah, I'm the captain. I told you we're going to build a port out of matchsticks, and that's what we're going to do, you know. And then everyone goes, oh, all right, yes, sir. And then we go off on this stupid quest and make like even matchsticks might not even exist in that world or something, you know. It's just make it really ludicrous. But then everybody, I think that helps, because the layer of abstraction, because then you're like, well, we're doing this ridiculous thing, but our characters are going along with the flow of it, you know.
Yeah, you make your own game out of it.
Exactly. That's kind of the best, or for me, the in my experience of it, the ideal scenario is you basically make your own mini story and world out, you know, within the environment that the game's setting for you. It's so funny sometimes even in the RP worlds, or the RP communities, you still run into a lot of people that struggle with but this says it's iron in it, you know, that I'm mining. And you say, no, it's not, that's not iron. That where we come from, we call that orange peel, you know, whatever, right? And, and people really, even in the RP space, people often really struggle to go that one extra baby step in their mind of, say, complete suspension of reality, and say, okay, this is orange peel, or orange peel is the most valuable currency in this world right now, so let's make sure we hoard all the oranges and we grow a big farm of orange trees. And people struggle with that last step sometimes, because they're still looking at mechanically what the game is offering them, you know.
What you mentioned there is actually something that has been brought up several times while I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because you find titanium in Valhalla. And people are like, they didn't have the method of finding and using titanium. I don't care. Like, yeah, how did they name it titanium? For all we know, they named it oddly light iron rock, but really strong. Like, they could have a Norse name for it. I don't care. Like, it's part of a game, and you have to let go of that preconceived notion of how things are in reality, and just let it flow. Like, what a perfect example is magic. Magic in a role-playing game. I cast the arcane missile. Okay. Yes. And everybody's okay with that. But it's not real. Yeah, okay. Then why do we have a problem with orange peel being a currency? You know? Why do we have a problem with that? It's just how you mentally approach it. And I guess it's because some of the things are easier to kind of let go of. So yeah, it's so I'd be all on board with this whole matchstick idea. Although I would probably be the one building a fire to make us see when we were building this matchstick port, you know.
I will hunt all. I will run after players, just screaming, "Give me your matchsticks now, or I'll kill you." That's what I'm going to do.
Exactly. That would be a perfect role for you. You would be like the enforcer or something, the guy going around muscling everybody for all their matchsticks. And people like, we don't even have matchsticks. It's like, well, what else have you got on you? Give me all of your coconuts then, or something like that.
I like that idea.
What's your goddamn orange peel, huh? Yeah, what's your goddamn orange peel? Give me your orange peel. And they're like, there you go. Ha! Robbed him blind, Captain.
He's pinging us in chat there.
Yeah, I see it.
But the one we did, just briefly, the one thing that we did in Atlas is we do like what they call reverse pirating, where you pirate people, but it's with like a real tongue-in-cheek like sense of humor. But even if you're trying to be like a little bit intimidating, but in a fun way, and then you end up leaving their ship with more stuff and more money than they had when you first turned up.
I love that idea. I love that,
and it works. That works really well. You can have a lot of fun with that. So we've been the victim of reverse pirating and ended up quite wealthy from it. And then we were last time around on one of the Atlas season we played recently. We invented a thing where I don't know why, I just had the stupid idea. We started paying money to one of the pirates in advance, like an insurance thing, and we were just calling it pirating it forward instead of paying it forward. And we were like, we've paid up. So and then we would say if we ran into any pirate group, whether they were affiliated with them or not, we would say, no, you can't take money from us because we've already paid up with the pirate queen. And she wasn't the pirate queen, so we made up this title for her as well, just to. And this became like a thing across like everyone had heard about it, like the Navy, all the other groups we ran into. They're like, "Are you the guys that pirate forward?" Like, yes, we've already paid our dues. So, and that wasn't in the game. It was protection money or whatever. But we
union fees.
Yeah, it just came up as a stupid idea once. I think it was because the pirate said, "Give me like 1 gold or something," and I just threw down 10, and she's like, "That's 10 gold." It's like, it's okay. I'm just paying for the next 9 in advance or something, and then it just rolled forward from there.
Oh, that is an excellent idea. That's kind of why I love games that allow you to do your own thing, though. Like you sit down and you're like, okay, I have this massive open world. What do I do? Well, okay, I'm gonna build the Eiffel Tower, or I'm gonna go pirating, or like it's all up to you. But I can also see why a lot of people have problems with those sorts of games, because a lot of people enjoy the construct of, okay, this is your task, this is where you go. And if you bring role play into it, where people have their own roles, their own jobs, it's going to be a whole lot easier. So I would be up for the idea of role playing in Satisfactory, where you have this factory manager who's standing there, he's finding our tasks, he's planning where things are going. And that would potentially be somebody who's really good at overseeing things. But then you would have to have this planning guy, this guy who optimizes everything. Then you'd have to have somebody who's really good with kind of seeing where the paths need to go in order to make it the best. Then you'd have the exploration crew going out, finding new nodes, and nobody, and then you could say that, okay, somebody who's out there exploring, they are allowed to use the scanning tools and so on, but they're not allowed to use the building tools when they're in the base. At least they have access to building, let's say, ramps and ladders, and that's it. But I love that idea about games. You get to set your own limits, you get to do your own thing.
Yep.
And
totally agree with that.
And I mean, that's also why I've loved World of Warships, because World of Warships has had for a long time, you do your own thing. Like, do you want to play to find all the tier 10s? Or do you want to play to get rank 1? Or, like, you have your own way of doing things.
I'm just glad you went in that direction, because I was like, oh, here it comes. They're going to talk about my division play. You just do what you want,
he's
like,
kind of
go
doing
to
his own
wherever.
thing there.
I kind of am, because you are doing your own thing. But that's how you play. Right?
It's always for the greater derp. I mean, good. Yeah.
The greater derp. There you go. Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. The derp master himself.
Oh, yes.
Derp, 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 derp.
So, what games are you looking forward to this year? Do you have anything on the horizon that you know is going to be good, or?
Well,
I don't know if it's going to be good, the new world, but I'm going to test it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Have you looked at that, Grumbles?
Not in depth, but I did dip my toe in just a few videos when it was coming around, but I didn't have time to. I think I tried to register, but I probably just registered too late, or they had like 1,000,001 people trying to get in or something. So it didn't turn into something for me. But I went because Grumpy mentioned it, so I had a quick look. I mean, anything that's like open world. You know me, anywhere I can go and play like one of the McCracken family or any other kind of crazy character. And we were playing Ivan Ivanovar, the crazy mad military Russian scientist in Eco at the moment, and having a lot of fun with that. So anywhere where I can go and derp around a little bit and have at least some people kind of go along for the ride and have some fun together, I'd be up for that. I like open world stuff. I love survival things. I haven't really had a look at like what's scheduled. There's one that I'm keeping half an eye on, which I think just came out to early access or alpha or something, which is Ancient Cities.
Ancient Cities. Okay.
But that's a little bit more like building things up and playing like the Hand of God, like Populous kind of thing to some degree. But they've done like a lot of real video filming and then animated that into the game and stuff. That's quite cool looking. But I don't know. That's more another like real-time strategy, micromanagement sim type thing.
Yeah.
But I want to. I don't know. I think there's Arc 2 is announced.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't looked at any of the detail yet because people have been saying don't spoil it by looking at the trailers and things and whatnot. I haven't had a look at that, but I'd be very intrigued to see where Arc 2.0 could go, because goodness me, the core of that game could be a lot of fun, but they just didn't really optimize it over the many years it's been in early access. Other than that, there's a couple of games from last year on my wish list that I haven't got back to. The Hoagie mentioned one in chat earlier, which is Grounded, where you can do up to 4-player co-op as the little children have been shrunk down.
Oh yeah.
The Honey I Shrank the Kids are running away from spiders, and you can build little houses and stuff. And I think that would, like, the three of us and like a TC or insert name here, there could be a lot of fun in that. So anything what I've really learned through last year even more than ever is that whole co-op thing that we were just talking about. So I'll be looking for opportunities that allow me to get that let's do a thing together kind of action on.
Have you guys looked at Deep Rock Galactic?
We've played 1 or 2 sessions of Deep Rock Galactic. That in co-op mode is good fun, so it was a case of fitting it into the schedule more than anything. I tried playing it like solo and stuff. I didn't really, that's just not really where I'm going to go. I don't really do a lot of story.
I've been looking at it, but you need people to play it with, I feel. That's why I never got into it.
If you get a 4-player co-op team going, that works. That's actually quite fun because it's all cartoony kind of killing bug type things. So there's nothing too competitive or violent about it or anything. It's what Deep Rock is for me is it's a nice one to like pick it up, play it for an hour or two or whatever, then you're done and you move on. You can come back to it any time. It's not really, you don't have to play it for a few weeks on end or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Good.
I was wondering about this. I don't know if it's been canceled. The guys that have done the games you play, Valhalla and stuff, they have Skull and Bones or what it was called. It's going to be pirate thingy. It just disappeared. I don't know if it's coming.
It should still be coming, but I know I completely blanked on that one.
Skull
That's one
and
I was
Bones.
really looking forward to, but then it's been so quiet about it.
Skull and Bones. Well, this is coming soon,
March
so yeah.
2021.
Oh, so maybe. 'Cause
So it's
I
still
haven't
in
seen
development.
anything because they're gonna rework it. They said, and after that, I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything.
Yeah.
Another similar one is actually Black Wake from 2017.
Okay, I've not seen that one.
Microsoft actually. No, it's Massfire. Sorry, not Microsoft. Similar piratey, PvE, PvP, focused on teamwork and cooperation. Multiplayer naval FPS. So you have cannons, and so it's very much like
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah.
I guess it's a mix between Atlas and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've
With
seen a lot of
bit
people.
Black Flag or something feel
Yeah.
baked into it, maybe. Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people say, "Hey, you should really play this." But again, I'd have to sit down together with somebody and so that I can play it, because going into a multiplayer game alone like that, it's just,
Exactly.
yeah, no, it's
I think, yeah, we definitely need to just hook up and do these things. There was medieval.
You mentioned Sundays there. I'm just saying. Yeah, that works. Just saying it fast here. Sunday, good day.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening thing. Maybe we have to. We're not gonna challenge ourselves too much here with schedule. It was hard enough to
No.
decide.
I'm just
this
saying that
thing.
that's a good day. That
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
mentioned.
good to know.
I'm on board with that too, honestly, because with my change in schedule, Sundays will always be open for me, and sitting down and doing those sorts of things as a bonus stream or something like that could be fun.
Yeah.
And I honestly also think that if we do cooperative games like that,
Oh, somebody in chat has played that Black Wake.
oh yeah, but
Okay.
doing games like those where we have a story goal, we have something to go for, would also maybe allow us to make this into a YouTube series for ourselves. Not necessarily like overly edit and focus on, oh yeah, this is for YouTube. No, but just kind of make the VODs available and edit it down into something that we all
We're just bringing the good vibes and the fun and the laughter and the story for people. Yeah. The other thing I would throw out before I forget it. Sorry, because you know what my brain's like. The one thing I would throw in is, and I'm gonna regret it as soon as I've said it, but for good reasons, would be maybe we do a little bit of a D&D or some kind of role playing.
all aboard.
Yeah,
I played D&D
the
back in the
regret
day,
is
so
because
I
this
can't get
excites
back.
me so much and puts a big smile on my face. And then I think of my schedule and timing it and whatnot. But if I think that there could be scope for doing that, and I could probably find some time maybe in DM, just a really basic, like a little, like we call like instead of a one shot, like a 2 or 3 shot or something, and just everybody sit down, play and learn the basics and have some fun together, and then see if that's something that we've all enjoyed and we think, yeah, okay, we can do some more of this.
Hey, Grumbles, you're not the only one who has DM'd before.
No, I was going to say,
I know, but it will allow you to actually do the thing that you really enjoy, which is playing. I know you do enjoy it a lot, so
yeah.
And I have plenty of ideas for things I want to set up as scenarios and play out for players. That actually brings me on to something else I've been thinking about a lot. Arma 3 has what's called a Zeus mode, where you're basically a god, being like, you can spawn in units, you can direct units and take over units in a scenario where others are playing something. And I've had this idea for like setting up a mission and being a commander and sending a SEAL team or like a specialist team in towards something to extract something, and then just, you know, really enjoying the whole scenario of introducing units or introducing challenges to them, or walking up to them with this crazy guy and going, "So, you want to see my spoon?" and you just gotta see how they react. And it's one of the litmus tests I always have with a role playing group. I always introduce, and this is probably gonna spoil something for you guys if we ever play. Is I always introduce people digging holes.
I'm in.
And it's like I always introduce in the way like you come to the clearing and you see loads of mounds of dirt, and in one, like near one of these mounds of dirt, you can see dirt being thrown up onto the mound. Near where you see this, there are two other people with shovels looking down into the hole. And that's where I kind of leave the scenario. Very often you see people then going, okay, I sneak around to get a better view. Yes, they're digging. Okay, what are they digging for? You don't know. Can I hear a conversation? Yep. And it's usually just some weird conversation about, yeah, Jimmy, you found anything yet? No, there's a whole lot of dirt down here. Yeah, but I mean, did you dig deeper?
Keep digging.
Yeah, and that sort of thing. And it usually really intrigues people, and they're just kind of sat there going, what the hell is going on? Why are they digging? And these characters who are digging, they're always really shifty. Like they get super nervous when somebody's around. Like, yeah, so we're just digging. And what are you digging for? You know. No, we don't know. That's why I'm asking. It's just, you know, we're just digging. And usually that's all they're doing. They're just usually just digging.
Yeah.
They're not looking for treasure. They're not looking for anything special. They're just digging.
Some guy paid us to dig this hole. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just, and it's just always lovely to see the interaction there.
Looking for the matchsticks. God damn it.
Yes, there you go. He's looking for the matchsticks. and that's kind of what I like to do in Zeus too, in the armor mode. And it's just going in and introducing something unknown just to see how people react. And that's what I really love about role playing. So I'm all aboard for something like that. I am. I truly am. And yeah, like how long have we been podcasting? When did we started at 12, didn't we? Yeah, so we're almost up to 2 hours. Almost up to 2 hours. Should we start moving on towards the miscellaneous and viewer questions and comments, maybe?
Yeah.
So, what are your guys' thoughts here first?
Thank you for the follow.
Like what?
Great big bushy beard I just heard.
Yeah.
That's the weird part when you do this through OBS.
Yeah, there you go.
But the God mode you were talking about, I played with the clan in Arma, like from Arma 1 to 2, and so they even made missions and stuff long before. I think some of them even worked together with some of the developers. So they did missions, and a lot of us were on one side that was going to accomplish the mission, and then you put some random dudes with the AI. So you had like 10 real people spread out on the map too, together with these AIs, and so many weird stuff happened, and it's really fun to do that. You go through a mission and suddenly somebody else shows up, started, you know, just acting weirdly. It was really fun. It was, you know, they jumped out of a bush and just screamed and started shooting people and stuff like that, you know, just weirdly, you know, like, what? Yeah. And you're doing an AI thing, but what is that? Like, that was really fun. So yeah, I mean,
have you guys,
hard to explain it.
Yeah, no, I'm all on board. But have you guys seen any comments or such in chat that's something we should bring up? I've seen one, but I want to ask you guys first.
I haven't been reading.
You haven't been reading, okay.
For what?
Okay.
I have, but it's always been at points where we're raising certain points or people have added with suggestions and things. So I think we've covered a lot of the points. I probably missed dozens of others.
Yeah, same here with my lazy eye.
Yeah, blame your lazy eye for not being able to read chat and
Yes,
keep up.
I am.
It probably doesn't have anything with you streaming 13 hours yesterday into the wee hours.
No, I'm so awake right now.
Yeah, completely. I fully believe you. No, I don't, and not at all.
And this food is just looking at me getting cold.
What? Why aren't you eating? Why
Not
aren't you
even
eating?
comment on my cold toast.
Yeah. I have one question here. Something that I think people would want our comment on regarding warships. Any discussion around the Italian BBs?
What is this? This is SAP instead of HE and the full speed smoke thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody that hangs around my space knows what I feel generally about the SAP and the cruisers that turn better than DD's gimmick. I'm not a big fan of it. So you bring that into battleships. I don't know, like, because now you put that into the space of the new skills too. You've got this. There's one skill. I don't know if it applies to BBs. Probably not. But there's one. I think it might do. There's one with the harder hitting SAP.
No, it doesn't. That's only cruisers.
Is that cruisers? Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be down on anybody that's really looking forward to it, or there's real ships and the historical aspect and all the rest of it. But for now, I take the bit of the easy answer and put it in the I don't feel particularly excited or why I need that gimmick to come in. Like that's not what I want to see arrive. But again, I'm not trying to be down on it. I say I'm neutral on it, right? It's again, new ships, new content. That's always interesting. It always brings something in with it that maybe you weren't expecting or didn't see just by reading the stats. The usual thing. Okay, so this is my real cop-out answer. I have to play it. It's the same with the commanders, because I have to really play it and see what it works over several days in real random battle conditions. Because everything else you read on paper, unless it's super obvious, looking at you, Deadeye, is you have to experience it a few times to get a feel. Does this really apply? Is this really a problem, or is it just looks like a problem on paper? So that's what.
Or should they implement like lazy eye?
I was just about to say, we have a comment here from somebody in chat. So we have the Deadeye perk. What would the lazy eye perk be? What would the lazy eye perk be? You know? I think
it would be like you can't hit anything beyond 10 kilometers. Like the guns don't even fire, because you get a command response in audio soundbite that says, "Yeah, don't bother," right? And they don't fire. They refuse to fire the gun, but you take 90% less damage from ramming because you didn't see the other ship.
Sounds like Grumpy. At least to an extent. It does. No, I'm all on board with that. Yeah.
Oh wow, Dahogi says lazy eye is a kill secure perk.
I think we're gonna round off today by asking chat. Do you have any questions for us? Or comments?
Specifically around the podcast and the format, and we might not do this in this time and exactly this format each time, but just what you guys think of it, and because we'll try and take it all on board. 1,001 suggestions, we won't be able to process everything, but
no, but the VOD is still there. You can read of it.
Yeah. So we will be posting this. Not sure where, but the links will be thoroughly distributed when we know. For now, I see Gert asking when's the next episode. This, for me at least, is something that will happen once to twice a month. When we have something to go for. Like, if this ends up being super popular, by all means, we might do something about the schedule, but for me, once to twice a month is the idea. Mari asks, are you planning to make a special Twitch account for this podcast session? I don't know. Probably not. I'd rather keep this on like a roundabout, and just post this to those places where we can have it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that short term, it might be something like, again, I mean, ultimately, I don't really mind where it is because I just want, I need to remember to stop my stream so I'm hosting properly next time. But anyway, I'm totally comfortable with it being hosted anywhere, or if we round robin it. I actually like this because, Tiger, you've got that knack with these things, and thank you for putting this together and doing the little image and all the cropping and sort of hosting it for us, because I would have struggled time and skill wise probably to get it all done. So I think that we might look for like a dedicated sort of time slot or something, because I think that, well, again, depending on the popularity and everything, I really look forward to being able to have like a very lightweight edited version that we can put on like YouTube's or wherever, uploaded VOD videos and things. And what was the other point? It doesn't matter now; it's gone. But yeah, so I'm cool. It might even be easier for people if they know where we're going each time and stuff as well. But these are just first thoughts.
Yeah, like the idea is the entire time to make this available no matter where, so that it's easily digestible. Like it's going to be available in audio form. It is a podcast first and foremost, after all.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I want to reiterate as well. I'm really, really pleased and super happy and thankful that so many people have managed to stick with us, because I know there's the usual time zones with people flitting in and out or going to work or whatever. But this is very different. This is not like pew, pew, pew. There's been plenty of ships content that we talked about, but also the variety. So thank you sincerely to everybody for hanging in there. And again, this is our experiment, right? This is our very, very first time. We didn't really had any practice runs. We barely had any time to kind of even check all the tech working, just enough.
Well, I'm glad you put up the topics on the screen so I knew what we were going to talk about.
That was actually a really good call. Yeah,
but I would like to remind you that it was also in the
Discord. Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't have the time to.
Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't have time to answer you. You know.
No, I know, but this is why we have time in between, and we add stuff to it. I'm thinking we can make a pinned post, each of us at the top, where we can just edit and make new topics for the week to come. That way we know that it stays on top. We know it's part of the pins, so it's easy for us to find. People have been asking, or we got a question here. Spotify? I'll look into it. I'll look into where we can post this and maybe get it to be an actual an actual podcast. Like, where can it be hosted properly? I'll look into all those things, and I will spread the links to all the respective communities so that you guys can share it all. So I'm guessing this will be posted on Twitter and Discord respectively.
Yep.
And we had a question about guest appearances. I'm all aboard for that.
Oh yes.
There are plenty of people I want to bring along for like more an in-depth, let's get to know this person kind of thing. So yeah.
We also exactly. So definitely a part of the thinking. If people want to be here with us, obviously we can't force anyone to, but I think that's a definite possibility. We're also thinking about how to incorporate questions and feedback from viewers, where we might do like a I don't know. I don't want to talk too specifics. I don't want to open or close specific doors, but we're looking at how to integrate you folks even more into the topic, at least for one of the sections. Because at the end, as Tiger said, and this is a podcast, so it's the conversation, and we hope that it's entertaining and engaging and brings some laughter and fun and some thoughts. But yeah, I really like a lot of the comments. I think Finn's got some good points there about it. Leading off from the grumbling does help because we have a lot of the community here, and then other people will join because a lot of the time for new folk, it's like, oh, there's some numbers over there. Let's go and see what everyone's hanging about. And I think being in the just chatting category is cool too because that's a huge category on Twitch, one of the most consistent. So that will bring in other people to come and have some fun with us. And yeah, if we had Lily on board, as Night Tequila says, I think we can all start grinning a lot at that thought, how the conversation will. We might need to factor in an extra half an hour for just words and utterings from all of us that don't make any sense for that point. But yeah, I'm not sure about the chipmunk request from Gert M. We'll take that under advisement, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm going to stick with my normal voice here, I think.
Yeah, I like Durek's comment because that's the best compliment you can really get. I have decided you guys aren't allowed to stop.
Yes, indeed.
And I like Viper's comment as well about the where were you when the first exit to podcast happened?
Yes, indeed. We are also going to bring up other topics. Of course, this has been heavily colored by the fact that there are new things happening in warships, big things.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be but my idea here is to get to know us, what's going on behind the scenes, like why do we do this, why do we stream, where are we in our life, because I know we've all had big things happen that kind of land us here, and that's something that I want to touch on slightly, and that's always kind of weird to touch on when you're sitting there gaming.
Yeah, true.
And so there are plenty of things that I want to talk to people about, and especially to other streamers. I want to talk to other streamers about, like, how do they fit in the schedule, how do they do all these things, because I think a lot of people wonder, what is it like being a streamer? And that's something we can portray in this. So yes, real life will be part of it. I certainly have my own things I want to bring up at some point. But this is, just judging from the first episode, this is going to be a long-term thing. I really thoroughly love this format, and it's just, yeah. It's just so good to be able to have that conversation in a proper way, because sometimes we do get into a proper topic that needs to be talked about, or have that conversation about something fun, where, for instance, like Grumbles, I know you always really enjoy putting it out there to the community and telling them how much you enjoy this. And then suddenly I get shot at or torpedoed by a Fletcher, and I'm going, you, and then, and that's not necessarily the best time to be sitting there going, we really love you guys, and there's Northern Norwegian guy, and then so on. It's not necessarily the best point, but here we are, and this is where we can do those things. And I don't know, Skinny Pete as a special guest episode next week.
This week, Crumbles is. This week we're joined by Skinny Pete. Oh, hello there. It's really nice to be here on your podcast, and don't understand what it's all about.
That's your guest, Pete. It's my cousin. Hi. How you doing there, Skinny Pete? I'm Skinny.
Marangana asked for random merchandising, so I'm just my Texas hula mug.
I mean, I probably have something around here I could do too, but my oh hi there mask.
I know.
Buy your,
God!
Buy your masks, people. Buy your masks.
Oh God! I both want that and don't want it in equal measure. Oh God! Oh no!
How good is that? How good is that?
Oh no! You might as well be eating a banana right now.
No. But no, like, Exit the Podcast being a merch idea, sure. We can probably set up a spreadshirt for that so that we can divide out the income from that.
I think there's like a merchant, like one idea would be like for the WoWs people, it would be like toy ships, for kids and for the community. And they're all made out of Starlinium, so they're impossible to break.
Yes, and delivered with the enthusiasm of Chrysanthos and Mr. Conway.
This is us grinning and bearing. We're here to announce really good things.
Can I just mention just how out of place it looked like they felt? Like it didn't look like they wanted to present that at all. Oh, I feel so bad for them. I mean, they catch so much flack for the things going on in the background, and they really don't deserve it. They really don't deserve it.
Well, I still remember back a couple of years back when the NA team, and they're slightly back sort of sometimes, but back when it was Fem and oh gosh, the woman that went to tanks, Trigger, not Trigger. It's annoying me. Somebody will have it in chat. But they just had loads of fun. Their streams were really, really fun to hang out, and they just played ships together, and they talked about all the stuff and did all the things that Conway and so were doing as well. But they were mostly just derping about in ships and enjoying themselves. And those were really fun. And then they just stopped doing them. So I reached out and I was like, why don't you guys do that stuff anymore? And they're like, tragic loss. That's it. Thank you, White Wolf. Well, Tragic moved to tanks anyway, which is the most, I'm not criticizing, but the most bizarre decision ever from my point of view. Who openly says I prefer tanks to ships? It's like, what the? Anyway, and they stopped and they were like, yeah, the head office was like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore or whatever. And I just thought that was such a sad thing, and I'm glad to see they're making a bit of a comeback now. And then for me, like as the meme, it was like they shut it down because those folks were just having too much fun.
Yeah,
they were just playing the game with a smile on their face. But I'd like to see more like that coming back, and I know it's almost impossible. Oh, did we lose Grumpy, or is he deliberately? He's showing off his artwork.
No, you saying kids play with ships? I
there you
my
go.
first drawing ever.
Yeah,
excellent. Yeah, I'd like to see more. It's probably almost impossible in a way because of the way they've driven, and handled all of the PR and the stuff. It'd be nice to see Warship community streams, or maybe it just needs to be different personalities or something. It'd be nice to see them just bring some people forward who are just smiling and having fun playing the game. I know they're always going to be hit with all the questions and I hate the commander, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, a bit more positivity, I guess, is the point. That is a very cool picture.
It is Eric Webb, right?
Kid.
It's Eric Webb, right?
Yeah, it's one of the first time of drawings from him to me after the logo, kind of.
Now, there's a guy I think we should have on one of our episodes if we're able to.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Just kind of talk to him, what kind of drive he has for everything. But yeah, it's that's sort of the creation of the space that I'm hoping to be able to do here. Bring on other people, like people doing other things than we're doing. Like people who are dedicated to music streams or such. Yeah, it's nice to be able to get to know people. It really. Well, that is super creepy.
I thought one of your cats
Honestly,
just walked in and had a really, really bad accident or something. I was like, oh my god.
It looks like me, doesn't it?
The way you brought that in nice and small in the back, and then it zoomed in as it crept up behind you was really good. Whether you meant that or not, it was just really funny the way that crept in.
So
yeah, it's so different styles. That's what I like. This is so different from what he usually does for me.
It's cool though. It's cool.
Did you see the 2-year thingy for Little One?
No.
Oh, that's so cool.
Hey,
yeah, I saw that.
I really like that.
Yeah, that one I'm going to put on as wallpaper for him. So
that is really nice. That is really nice.
Yeah, so he could be a guest. I really would enjoy.
Oh, I know many people. That can fit in, that I really want to talk to. I don't know how possible it is, but I know, like talking to people like Hello, it's Colo, or even Melissa Lamb, talking to Natalie Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well while you were talking and throwing some names in. I definitely think there'll be a few people that will come from different, backgrounds or focal points and be part of this as well. Yeah.
Like, get to know why they're kind of jumping into this, and yeah, I would love to do that. And not only that, like, not only partners, not only big channels. I want to talk to affiliates. I want to talk to you guys know my friend and moderator Shoggy. He's recently got into streaming. I want to talk to him. Hula, yes, Blutnum, Hula.
Damn it, Plutonum! I was saving up to do this.
on board?
Should we get Hula on our podcast?
Oh,
Hell
yes.
yeah! Yes. I love that bit. It's so good.
Yeah.
Does Hula get excited about biddies?
Yes.
It's so good. Oh, and so many good people that I want to talk to, and this is definitely something that we can branch out on. But for now, unless we have any last minute comments or questions,
Only comment I had to say is, I love you guys.
hell yeah, same dude, same. This is good. This is good. For any feedback that the people at home want to give, you know where to reach us on Discord and Twitter, and feel free to do that. Any feedback on what we can do better, what we need to keep, questions that we might not have been able to answer. I don't know how much we'll be able to answer outside of the podcast, but feel free to hit us up. Oh yes, chaos.
I just want to say, yeah, absolutely. I just want to say about the feedback thing. Hit us up. Use the Discords and stuff like that. Just keep in mind, we will review everything, but we might not be able to individually get back to everybody, right? So please have some understanding, where we can fit all this in time-wise and stuff. My commitment is always, I always read every comment, every creative suggestion we have on our creative channel on the Discord and stuff like that. But I don't have the chance to necessarily get back to everybody. So please understand that, and have some patience and whatnot. You might have the best idea in the world. If we're going to use something and do something, I'm sure we'll get back to you. But if we don't respond, it's not because we've ignored you or haven't seen it. It's just that we can't respond to everything we get in.
Also, keep in mind that this is going to be a three-way thing. This is not just going to be suggestions coming in from my side or something I decide I want in. No, I'll if somebody brings something up in my Discord saying, "Hey, could you do this?" I'll bring it back to the others. We'll have a short talk. Is this something that fit? Is this something that we feel is good? And then we'll move on with it. But we might not be able, like Rumble said, be able to get back to you guys and say, no, this is not going to happen because of X or Y. But if we do bring it in, I think we'll try to be our best and actually giving credit, though. Of course. So,
Alrighty, cool.
Where are we going? Because I feel like we should raid somebody like we usually do on this, right?
I agree.
Hey, Nutty is on.
Who?
Nutty, the guy, that the scene transition kind of guy.
Oh yeah. He's really cool. He's really funny.
Let's see here.
I've never raided there, but yeah, he's done that recently. That tool as well that you can do a lot of cool stuff using the wedge sockets in OBS.
Yeah. You can do
we
like
can go anywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
the only other thing I would say is we could take people to, like, I don't know, Andy or somebody playing warships just so that they can.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they came from there. So.
They came from warships, so
Bolt is on.
Bolt is on, yeah. Orion's on. Revan. Now, Revan's playing StarCraft.
Or make a new friend like we also usually do.
We can do that too. Definitely. Definitely.
A warm welcome to all the warships community.
Yeah. Paul Baggins is on. Oh, is Twitch being twitchy? Oh,
a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, let's have a look at the World of Warships overlook here. Gibbons is on, of course. Steel Eye. Baxter Chico. Yeah, not really people that need it. Let's scroll down.
Yeah, Grumpy, you starting the live piano outro?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The Grumpy Beard Diggy Diggy Hole rendition.
Kaya Gaming is on. Suicide Buggy Squad. That's a German stream though, but what the hell was that
name? I saw the
name?
name as well at the same time. I was like, yeah, that's a cool name.
Lionhearted 1988. Oh, that's enough. That's people. Hungarian CC. Wow. Okay. That's kind of cool. Necky's part of
yeah, so he's been over here with us, yeah, and he's just starting up his streaming.
Yeah,
so that could be a good one.
And he's part of the Wiki stream team, the Casual Gamers.
All right.
I'll open that up.
Yeah, it's always a time when I don't usually get to see, so I don't know what the vibe's like, but
Lowry, who's that? I think I saw that name. Yeah, French only. She is. And then we are largely an English speaking.
Just Chegg is on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. And he's playing World of Warships. God damn it. What?
Just Chegg. Let's check him out. 3 viewers. Just starting out. He's a partner though, but still, I know he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's wholesome. Really wholesome.
So
sounds like a win.
Sounds like a win. Let's do it. Everybody, like if you have any sort of raid emote or such from any of our channels, I hope you will follow us over to Just Chegg to say hi to him. I've been the Tiger. Thank you so much for me. Grumbles, any last passing words? Keep it short.
Is that a dwarf joke?
Yes, it is.
No, as I always say, I just wish everybody peace and love. Have fun. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. And thank you for being here with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoy this much more than I ever could imagine. So yeah, just chill out. Even though I haven't slept, I love this. Let's keep on. Let's keep on going.
Let's keep on going. You guys at home have been excellent.
Big hugs.
Big hugs. Keep wild. Stay free. And we will see you guys in the next grumbling.